This tells me that Williams is not the long-term solution, which tells me someone else could be on their way, which
we'll
is
get into
good
that
news for, right?
Yep.
I'm going to hold off, which is good news for you, Cleveland. Your Cleveland Browns are going to be good and soon.
Well, here's the big thing. When we first saw Baker Mayfield, we immediately thought to ourselves, he's a star, right? When he's inserted in the 2-minute drill, in the third game of the season, fourth game of the season, and you see him, you say, oh, he got it. Right? And then we watch him regress, right? He was a better player the first time he stepped on the field as the Cleveland Browns quarterback than what he was last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it was time to make that move. To me, it was time to make that move when you were 0-16, when you bring in John Dorsey and when you're trying to move forward with this organization. So you make the move now.
Which he wanted to, and they wouldn't let him.
Absolutely. The one thing that people don't know about Greg Williams, because obviously Bounty Gate was the big thing, and then you watch him on Hard Knocks, and he cusses, and he's extremely intelligent. Like, not just a little bit.
A lot.
Extremely intelligent, extremely organized, structured. What does Cleveland lack? Discipline. As a coach, as a whole team. Structure. So now you put this guy in to stabilize that for the remainder of the year. And what you did, which you couldn't have done last year when you hired John Dorsey, and if you would fire Hugh then, now you get to start your search early. Now the Browns know, the world knows, we're out looking for our coach, and this regime is different.
Let me tell you where, and obviously I don't disagree, but let me tell you where I think we're missing the boat in terms of enlightening our viewing audience. Because of the discipline, the structure, the high intellect, particularly as it pertains to football, and the fact that he's a defensive-minded guy, some people think that that's a manner in which, you're looking for a guy on offense to dissect who Baker Mayfield is and what potentially he's worth. I say no. Greg Williams would be in a prime position to dissect Baker Mayfield and tell you what he's worth because he knows defense and he knows what a rattled quarterback looks like. And Baker Mayfield, by the way, has not been ultra impressive. Let's keep that in mind.
He's getting beat up. Absolutely.
He's getting beat up.
Here's one thing real quick about, defensive coordinator, therefore defensive mind. The Steelers and the Patriots, been all about offense in recent years. Their head coaches, former defensive coordinators. If you are very smart and organized and are going to be a great head coach, it doesn't mean you're consigned to being a defensive guy simply because you're a coordinator.
Absolutely.
All right, so the question that's already been being thrown out there is if the Browns should hire Baker's former head coach, Lincoln Riley, head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. Riley was asked about it.
Oh, sorry.
He said he's not interested right now. Max?
Yes. Listen, he's not interested right now because Oklahoma's in the hunt. Can you imagine if Oklahoma upsets?
I know you got to finish, but was that not a great answer? How many times have we seen people sit up there and say, I'm not leaving, this is where I'm going to be, and then they fly out of town like Nick Saban did from Baton Rouge to Miami? I think this is a great answer. Okay, you can
From Miami to Baton Rouge. Oh, yeah, Baton Rouge to Miami. Yeah, got you.
Dude,
LSU first.
Lincoln Riley, it's just so perfect. You're going to get the guy's college coach who, by the way, has reinvented offense in the NFL. Lincoln Riley, look at the Big 12 quarterback used to be, well, that kind of spread stuff, that's not a pro style. No, that is the pro style. That's who you want. Patrick Mahomes, that's who you want. Yeah, do you want Lincoln Riley with Baker Mayfield in the pros? Hell yeah. And if Oklahoma upsets Alabama somehow, can you imagine the price that he's going to fetch?
You up? Oh, I'm up.
Oh, for me personally, I thought, listen, let me say this. I disagree. You know why? Because if you go out and you get Lincoln Riley, you're saying I'm all in on Baker Mayfield, which will elevate the level of patience that you accord to Baker Mayfield compared to what you would do with any other quarterback. See, to me, bringing Lincoln Riley on board ultimately leaves you stuck in that situation with Baker Mayfield longer than you may want. Now, I'm not trying to knock Baker Mayfield. I believe in his potential. He's got 6 interceptions. He's got a QBR of 37. He is getting beat up. Now, granted, that might not be his fault, but here's the thing about it, Ryan. When you get beat up in the NFL, it might not be your fault, but does it negate the fact that you got beat up? And that ultimately you could end up punch drunk a bit sooner than we had hoped or anticipated? The reality is that if you are Baker Mayfield, we don't know what he's going to be. Now, I understand the thinking. We got to do everything we can with the Cleveland Browns to facilitate his success. I get that. I understand that kind of thinking, which is why if they hired Lincoln Riley, I wouldn't blame them. But if I had my druthers, I'm sitting there saying, do I know if I want to be all in on Baker Mayfield just yet? Do I not need to see a little bit more where I'm saying this is my quarterback for the next decade?
So do y'all remember who was the last first overall pick that lost their coach?
That lost their coach.
During the season. It was Jared Goff. So
Right.
listen, Baker Mayfield could be one Sean McVay away.
That's right.
But that's why I don't think you have to go out and get Lincoln Riley, because we've seen Andy Reid adapt. We've seen North Turner adapt in Carolina. Obviously, Sean McVay has brought this spread game to the NFL. What you have to do if you're the Cleveland Browns, it's not about showing that you're all in on Baker Mayfield. You want somebody that can help him. That can be an offense coordinator. You got to show that you're all in on changing the culture of the Cleveland Browns, changing what this organization is known for, changing the dysfunction. You have to get a leader of men. You have to get a culture changer. So it's not just about let's make sure we get a head coach who can teach Baker Mayfield how to play.
Yep.
It's about teaching this organization
What do you
how
think of
to
Lincoln
win,
Riley?
how to be successful. I like Lincoln Riley.
I like him
don't
too,
dislike
but I
him.
don't know
I'm
if
not
he's
saying
the guy.
what I'm saying is I'm not saying that they shouldn't go after him or they shouldn't vet him or they shouldn't look down that road.
he's not the
I'm
only
saying he
option.
doesn't have to be.
Let's
the
put it
answer.
this way, guys.
And we got to go. I just can I, if I got to go to college coach, can I get one with a national title? Is that too much to ask?